Are you stuck in the time for money trap? Well, today we kick off our brand photography season with a specific pricing for photographers that stops you from competing on price.
Welcome to Commercial Photographer, your guide to marketing, creativity, and growth. This is a podcast that helps commercial, brand, and headshot photographers navigate the competitive world of commercial photography with actionable strategies to grow your business.
Hello there, Sam. How are you?
Excellent. How are you, Marcus?
Very good. As you can see, I can remember singing a melody coming out of there, I think.
Out of where? Are you singing?
My intro. Well, I was sort of singing. It was a spring sing.
Very good, Marcus.
This week, we're kicking off our brand photography season with the 4 ways to price your work and why one of them is a fast track to burnout. We explore the Goldilocks psychology of packages and the shift from selling files to selling outcomes. And finally, how to master value pricing for high-end clients.
So, listeners, we have a webinar coming up. So I don't know if you're aware, but we have a webinar and it's linked to what I'm going to talk about today, which is titled Stop Competing on Price and Become a Premium Photographer. We are going to talk about all sorts of things linked to that. It's on the 2nd of April. You can book in on the website, commercial-photographer-podcast.com. There's a big button there. Book yourself in. It's free. There's all sorts of extra things you get, as well as a podcast, which Marcus, I will tell you about a little bit more through the show. But for now, I think we probably need to start.
Okay, let's go for it, Sam.
So I'm going to be opening up our branding season talking about pricing for brand photographers. How do you price your work? So for me, there's 4 basic models of pricing. If you've come up with another one, do tell me. There's 4 basic models of pricing, and we're going to go through them all, well, apart from one. So there's the packages model, there's the time model, there's the value model, and the one we're not going to go through at all is the making it up on the spot model, which I don't recommend. But it's one that some people follow.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So which do you think you follow use of those, Marcus?
Yeah, I'm in the package. Well, for my personal branding, which is one-to-one solopreneurs rather, packages. And then for my commercial marketing, clients, bigger companies, it's a combination of time and value.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. So we're going to go through time first, which is kind of the simplest and probably as a new photographer, it's where most people start. It's kind of helps you find your feet in some ways if you're not quite sure. So, it is very simple. You sit down and you think, how long is this project going to take me? And then you get your hourly rate and you times the 2 together. And that is what you quote people, which is kind of nice and simple. Obviously, if you're thinking about the time, you need to also include the post-production as well as just the turning up on the day in your time. And you also need to think about what is your hourly rate, which you'll see is a bit of a big question. That's, relatively hard. You might want to talk to other photographers locally, look on other photographers' websites. You might want to think about what you want your income to be, how many hours a day you've got and divide it up, all sorts of different ways. But the hourly rate is it's a simple way to do it. Now, if you're a new photographer, you will probably massively underestimate how long jobs are going to take you to start with. But once you've been going a while, people have a pretty fair idea of how long a job's going to take them, can work it out, do the maths, job done. Tends to be kind of more the bottom end of the market doing this. It's kind of tends to be for slightly lower price stuff, as a kind of general rule. But, there are always exceptions. There are those who do it hourly and have a very high hourly rate.
Yeah. I guess if you're shooting products as opposed to photographing people, that could be, you might be able to base it around hourly rate because you sort of know what's going through, maybe, or it could be a unit price, but there's different ways of doing it. Certainly for events, I price it on an hourly rate. I think that's the norm in the industry for doing events. And the first hour I charge more just in case they go for like 1 or 2 hours. So the first hour I bump up, and then after that I charge at another rate plus £100 an hour or whatever it might be.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, and the next model, it doesn't take much explaining. Hourly rate, does it? It's pretty self-explanatory. No. The next one is packages. Now, packages can work really well for all sorts of reasons. a lot of it is psychological in the way it works with the clients. And one of the reasons packages work so well is you're giving the client the impression of choice. Would you like to go for my bronze package or my silver package? Now, your client isn't now thinking, should I get my photograph done with Marcus or with Giles? Though you're giving them a choice, but both choices are having their photo done with you. And clients always want a choice. So if they've not got a choice with you, they're going to probably have 2 or 3 photographers and making that choice. But if they've got a choice with you, they're making a choice, but both those choices are you. So that actually is quite a powerful psychological kind of tool, because people do like to make that choice and have options. So that's really good. And then the next thing is the kind of the 3 price model, which lots of people know about, where you kind of go, I've got this package, say this is my kind of standard packages for brand photography, and I've got bronze, silver, gold. Okay. And you make your bronze fairly cheap and you don't get a lot for it. You make your silver the one in the middle that most people go for, and it's pretty good, and it's at a price where you're going to make a reasonable profit. And then you make your gold, you can get a fair few extras and bells and whistles, and you can charge a lot more for that, and that can be super profitable. Okay. And basically it just goes off statistics. Most people will go for silver. Whenever you buy stereo, you buy your washing machine, you buy your new guitar. Yes. Oh, I won't get the cheap one. Oh, that top one's a bit crazy. I'll go for the one in the middle. It's ingrained. Most people will do it. And so you've got to have the other two. So they go for the middle. It's as simple as that. Now, the bottom one, you will always get some people go for a small amount, and they will usually be the pain in the arse clients, because they're trying to get as much value as you can for as little as possible. So be really careful on that with what you get. Make it very, very clear and deal with them fairly carefully, because they will generally be your awkward clients. The gold one, some people will just always go for gold and say, I want the best. So you may as well charge a bit more and make a fair bit more profit, because whatever you put, those people are pretty much going to go for it.
They're going to go for
so,
it.
You don't have to get you could put the price 2.5, 3 times more than the main package. You do not have to give 2.5, 3 times more stuff, or 2.5 times, 3 times more. They just want the premium thing, and there you go. They can have it. But it's a really powerful model.
Yes, I think with this sort of Goldilocks formula, and it is the one that I follow, so that's the one I've sort of invested in. But I think the difficulty I found in it is just to make sure that as you increase, the price is easy to work out. You can get 1, 2, 3, but you've got to make sure you're adding, more photos as you go through, or if you've got your top package, are you going to be doing something else? Are you going to be including video, GIFs, or whatever? So you need to be clear. It's not just
your packages need to be 100. You're not just call them bronze, silver. Oh, absolutely. You have to have effectively a bullet point here. We've all been to the websites. Which software do you want? And you get this, and you're comparing them. You've got to have the super clear, be absolutely transparent what you get 100%. The other thing you can do with packages is avoid price competition. So if you're doing an hourly rate, if you're doing a daily rate or whatever, people can just look between photographers and compare. So one of the things I suggest with packages is you structure your packages different to the other people around you, so that they're not comparable. You're not offering the same thing. So they can't just go, I'm going to compare Marcus's bronze package to the guy next door's bronze package and his bronze package. And they're all, okay, maybe Marcus's, I get 2 more photos, and someone else I get half an hour less, but they give or take the same. Structure it differently. Come up with novel alternative ways to structure your packages so they're just not comparable. And then people can't compete on, and then people can't price compete. And then you're offering something unique as well. You got a clear price, and it's kind of take it or leave it. They can't just go, oh, well, Fred Blogs is 10 quid cheaper because Fred Blogs isn't offering the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can, with my CRM that I use, you've got those 3 packages, you simply can just send it on to the client, and they can make their decision from there.
That's it. Yeah. So, that's fine. Yeah, exactly right. I've got here, make the deliverables really clear, but you've already talked about that. And also the outcomes. So this is I talk about this a lot with photographers. They do get 14 photographs, 2 hours, blah, blah, blah. Actually, that's not what they want. What do they get? A headshot that means people will take notice of them. Yeah. What are the outcomes? Yeah. You're an estate agent, your house, or you own an Airbnb. Your Airbnb is twice as likely to rent out because of the photos that I take. Outcomes, that's what people are buying, not the And people really, and you've got to have those deliverables and they've got to be there, but that's not the focus. The focus is the outcome. That's what sells it. The deliverables are there and they're there so that you can say, this is what you get. And it's very, very clear. But the outcome is what sells it. That's what people want.
That's exactly, and that's the hard bit. That's the hard bit to come up with. That's not, the rest is fairly straightforward, really.
Yeah. So and it depends what the type of photography you do. So, for example, with the Airbnb, you could follow it with customers, and you could then really clear. It's like after somebody got me in to photograph their Airbnb, their occupancy went up from 40% to 80%. Bang, clear deliverable because of my photos. I mean, maybe the market suddenly changed at the moment I did the photography, a bit random, isn't it? It's not, they changed the photos, people saw it on Airbnb. It's that simple. So you get, sometimes it can be harder. Like, with the general brand shoots, it could be harder. You could talk to clients and go, right, if you put the photo on the website, have you had an increase in inquiry? So you can follow it with clients and try and see if there's been some measurables that you could talk about from previous clients having used your work. Did you have more engagement on social media having used my photos, that sort of thing? So you can ask.
I think it's just worth mentioning as well that you can have too many packages, too much choice.
Definitely. I think the 3 is that golden. No, you don't want millions. And what you can also, if you have lots of options, you can also do it. So, right, they've chosen the package. Great. Now there are some add-ons and you can discuss those, but after they've chosen the package and that's kind of fixed. So, don't have 43 packages but you can have, it's like if you buy a Apple laptop, I've never had, but if you go through, you choose the basic type, but then do you want the extra fancy screen? Do you want the extra memory upgrade? But you've already chosen the basic package, and you can do the same. You've already chosen the silver package, but then, do you want the extra 20 photos extra? Do you want the extra printed sticker for your wall? Whatever it is, you can have extras then that bolt onto the package.
Having looked through, I look at a lot of branding photographer websites, and I would say overall they're in pretty good shape. People do tend to do the package system. They're fairly clear what they are. I guess that's a part of the business of being a branding photographer. You are, the marketing side is so important.
Yeah, I definitely agree that probably they're the best photographer websites I see generally. Other branding ones, because I think they are aware of that much. But still, you do get the focus on the deliverables, not the outcomes. Always. That's just so common. So the next... Sorry. No. So the next pricing model then is the value pricing model. Okay. Generally, that's for the more premium end of the market. So, I mean, the basic question is, if you need something signing by your doctor, why do they charge 100 quid? Or you need something signing by a lawyer, why do they charge 200 quid? It's value pricing. They're charging for the value of what they are giving. They're clearly not charging for their time. They don't charge 10,000 quid an hour because they could sign an awful lot of things in an hour. They're charging for the value of what they give to you, with what that allows you to do. And the same can go for the photos. What is the value of the photo shoot you are delivering? Are you delivering a photo shoot that means somebody is far more likely to get a job because their LinkedIn profile looks so much more professional, they're going to stand out? Are you delivering photos of a property that means it's twice as likely to sell because people are going to stop on it as they're scrolling through Rightmove, and that house is going to really stand out due to the photography? And so that is worth an awful lot of money. Obviously, trying to actually think about the price and that and get that across is more challenging than just doing a quick price calculation for your hours. But you can charge a lot more because you're going, what is this really worth? What is getting a new job worth, from that LinkedIn profile photo? A huge amount. That is a huge amount of value.
So are you saying, Sam, this is more for top end clients where you can you're going to have much more of a call and discussion about what they need and about where it's going.
Yes,
and then you say, okay, I'm going to get back to you with a price on this.
Yes, exactly. This is not packages. This is bespoke. This is every time bespoke. What are you looking for? So then you can think about what value you can provide. I'll provide, and you do need still the outcomes will be 10 photos, but that's not the key. The key is the value I'll provide. I'll do your headshot photo session for you. This will double your chance of getting the new job that you're looking for. And you can see from previous clients, look They've all, the last 3 clients I've got new jobs within a month, having me redone their photos. And so, yes, it is more work, and you've got to kind of show in everything you do, you are more premium, which is back to the webinar we're doing. How do you show you're a premium photographer? It's part of that. You've got to show that you're able to deliver that value. You've got to get across that you have the skills to deliver that value. You've got to have the testimonials to show that you've delivered that value before, and kind of and understand yourself what that value is. But if you can then get that across and give them the price that's relevant to that, then, and you're talking about the outcomes, then you can charge much higher prices based on the value for what you're doing. The value of a headshot that gets somebody a new job is huge.
Indeed, Sam. And looking and talking about premium clients and how you work with premium clients, how you get them, is very much this, for me, is about having good ideas. And at the moment, I'm writing a book about how photographers can get ideas. It's not just branding photographers, but it is about general photography, but it certainly applies to branding photography. And I'll be giving away some copies of that on our webinar, which you just mentioned.
Amazing. Another reason to book onto the webinar, Marcus. So, you do need, a few things you need for this value pricing. You do need a clear niche. You can't show you're providing value to too many different people. Yeah. You've got to be niche to show that you're providing value in that area. And you've got to be seen as premium and top of your game. And you've got to be different from your competitors to be able to charge those premium prices and value prices. So they're the kind of different models. As I say, there's the time model, there's the value model, and there's the package model. As you say, you don't have to, be wedded to just one. You can be a little bit of a mix and match. You could start to move. You could, I do pricing now, but maybe I'll add a bit of value and go, okay, if they're getting more value from this shoot, maybe I'll have a slightly different rate and add it, and you can mix and match a little bit. But exactly. I think knowing those models mean you can bring them all together and work out, what works for me with what market and how. But if you want those kind of, if you want the higher income and the higher paid work, then the value is the way to go. And the podcast will definitely help with that.
Brilliant.
I've had a couple of thoughts about sales very quickly at the end when you kind of deliver this stuff. So I think when you are selling this, I think definitely you do need to talk about deliverables. A phone call is always good, I think. You said you can send details to people on email. That's great. But I think your sales call is really good in person or as a call.
Oh, 100%.
Talk to them.
100%.
So definitely talk about the deliverables, but don't go into every detail and say, I can send all the exact details in writing. You don't want the whole conversation to be about you get 10 photos, you want to talk about the outcomes, about previous clients, and then you share the cost, and then you stop and you shut up and you wait. Now, most people don't. They say, and this will cost £2,000. And then there's a gap and they want to fill it. And that's because of this. And don't forget because of that. And all because of that. No, just that will cost £2,000. How does that sound?
That's exactly right.
And Marcus has already broken because he spoke. They will break and say something because nobody likes that gap. And don't fill it with waffle because everybody does. Just wait. And don't negotiate on the price. Now, if they can't afford it, you've got a couple of options. And don't negotiate on the price. I don't mean if they say, I can't afford that £2,000. You say, well, bugger off, mate. You can say, okay, so what could we take out of the package? What could we remove from this? So by all means, you could talk about price, and maybe they'll end up with a photo shoot that costs a lot less, but it should also deliver a lot less. There'll be less outcomes and there'll be less deliverables. And you're still, you're making reasonable money. You've compromised because, you might give that price and they're like, well, that's well beyond my budget. And sometimes it's so beyond the budget you give up. Sometimes you can help them, but you don't help them by going, oh, well, I could just give you 20% off. You could go, oh, well, I could give you 20% off and you'll get 30% less. And you would say it that way, but you go, okay, so let's look at all these deliverables and outcomes. What could we maybe bring out to make it affordable for you?
Yeah.
Excellent. So think about your pricing. Think carefully. Think about where you want to sit in the market. Think about all the models. Understand all the models, and then work out what is best for you.
Sam, that was a really interesting take on the money talk. So if we want to build a business with real value for future business sales, we have to master these 3 takeaways. Select your model. Use the time model to find your feet, but move to tiered packages or bespoke value pricing to capture the high end of the market. Sell the after. Customers don't buy 14 photographs, they buy increased occupancy for an Airbnb or a better chance at a new job. Hold the silence. Once you've shared the price, stop talking. Letting the client speak first prevents you from filling the gap with unnecessary discounts. Nice one, Sam. Very well put.
Excellent. Well, Marcus, I will see you next week then.
See you next week.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. If you want to make sure you never miss a show, head to the website commercial-photographer-podcast.com and sign up to the newsletter. We'll be back next week with more practical advice to help you grow your business. See you next time.